Hello, fellow metalheads and future screamers. My name is Drake, and today I'm going to be giving you some tips, some do's and don'ts, and some other pretty basic beginning information for beginners, advanced, or really any level of metal vocalists. So just like every skill and every talent, there are going to be some simple and basic things that you need to uh, before you begin and after you have already begun. So first up is room temperature water. You need it to stay and be hydrated. Second is warm tea and honey. It helps soothe your vocal cords and keep your throat soothed. Um, Third is strong vocal cords. It's really more self-explanatory. Sorry, that's my cat. Um, sorry. Where was I? Oh, yes. It's called harsh vocals for a reason. They're very powerful, so you really need to be powerful. You need a powerful breathing and strong vocal cords. Lastly, you need patience. You're going to need a lot of patience. I mean, screaming and other harsh vocals, they don't just happen. You don't just magically have this talent. You need to work on it. You need to have patience, give it time, practice, work hard. So that's how you get your screaming done. So you're gonna need a lot of practice and patience. A lot of patience too. So along with things that you need, there are gonna be things that you need to avoid as well. Um, First up is sugar. Sugar can crystallize in your throat. It can cause a lot of pain when you're doing your vocals. Another thing is caffeine. If you didn't already know, caffeine is already dangerous. I mean, it gets your heart pumping, but doing these vocals, performing in front of crowds, doing something that you love to do can already get you amped up. So you don't want to, you know, go too far and really overwork yourself. Um, so avoid caffeine as well. Um, you also want to avoid milk. It creates a coating on your vocal cords. It also creates excess mucus and grime and grossness, and that's not very good for your vocal cords when you're trying to do those harsh vocals. Lastly, not lastly, I already kind of mentioned water. Um, you need it, but you don't want it to be cold and you don't want it to be hot. It'll shock your vocal cords, so that's very bad as well. And then alcohol, it just burns, so just avoid that as well. So, yeah. So up next, I'm going to go over three basic, the general types of metal vocals. First up is screaming. This is the loudest and the highest form of the harsh metal vocals. It'll be the hardest one to do, to accomplish. It'll most likely take the most time and your most practice and your best effort. Um, a lot of your patience. It'll hurt the most if you're doing it wrong, or even when you're just beginning. It still is going to hurt most likely. Um, so the second one is your growls. These are a little lower than your screams. Um, they also don't take as much effort. Um, they still require some effort, but it won't be as much as your screams. It won't be as hard as your screams. And it won't be as harsh as your screams. Then your last one are your false chords. These are going to be lower than your lows, but they're not using your real vocal cords, hence the term false. They will be a lot easier to just belt out. Those will be much simpler to do. So those are your main general types of metal vocals. So whether you're practicing with yourself or with your band, or even at a gig, there are some basic do's and don'ts that you're gonna want to follow. And this will be the last thing that I'll go over in this tutorial. So as for the do's, something you're gonna want to do is practice often. Like I said, whether you're by yourself or with your band, I mean, perfect practice makes perfect, or really as close as perfect as you can come. But you can never stop getting better at what you do. You can never stop getting more advanced. I mean, if you hit this level, you can always go a little more. So your practicing will just point blank make you good at what you do. So you're gonna want to practice often. Secondly, you're going to want to drink water before, during, and after your practice. Like I said, room temperature water. I've said that before, but it's very important. I can't stress it enough. Drinking tea afterwards, you don't have to do it, but I mean, I would recommend it. It really does help soothing your vocal cords after you had just kind of given them a little beating. You can also put some honey in it. That will also cool it down for afterwards. And then resting your voice. Kind of like running a mile, you're not going to want to just run a mile and then not do anything and just continue being active. I mean, you're going to want to take a rest, cool down a little bit, maybe even do a cool down, warm up kind of thing. I mean, you can do your growling and your screaming practice, give it a little time, do a little break, talk a little bit, not too loud, not yelling, and maybe even do some mild singing. I mean, just doing some kind of step down or some kind of rest. You're definitely going to want to do rests. And then, just like yin and yang with the do's, there are going to be some don'ts. Don't eat before practice. There's not really a definite reason as to why. There are probably some kind of like drinking milk. You don't want to do that. But in my own opinion, I wouldn't do it because it's just gross to me. You don't want to get anything come up. You don't want to, I mean, force out some air and accidentally force up some food. Also, different foods can create different coatings. Different foods can affect your vocal cords and your throat in different ways. So just don't eat before your practice or before a gig. I've already said this enough, but I can't stress it enough. Don't drink cold or hot water. It will shock your vocal cords. It'll just be kind of like a boom, oh my god, here's something cold, or a boom, oh my god, here's something hot. Drink something that's room temperature. It'll just keep you hydrated and not just give your vocal cords a smack to the face. And then lastly, for your don'ts, you are not going to want to whisper. Whispering is already bad for your vocal cords. You're stressing them, you're tensing them up. You already do that when you scream or when you growl, and you actually don't want to do that. So just don't whisper. I mean, you can whisper maybe if you're in class or something, but don't whisper after a gig or after your practice or before. So those are some of the basic do's and don'ts of your screaming. So, well, that's it for this tutorial. I hope the information I gave you was helpful. If it wasn't, well, I'm sorry. I guess this video really wasn't for you. Please like the video. If you click dislike, it is what it is. I don't really care. Feel free to subscribe. Stay posted for more videos and more tutorials. So yeah, I hope you liked my video. Comment if you have anything to say. Stay posted. So stay metal, you guys. Have a good day.